Why is early-stage cable burial risk assessment so critical in offshore wind projects? And how does it influence route selection and project feasibility?
Cable burial risk assessment is critical. It helps developers identify risks associated with seabed conditions, human activity, and environmental constraints well before any installation activity. By doing this really early, developers can identify and avoid unforeseen geohazards, sand waves, steep gradients. You can optimize cable routing to minimize interactions with existing seabed infrastructure, protected areas, and other commercial activities. And you can also ensure that cables are securely buried and protected. And finally, it enables developers to ensure safe navigation by avoiding high traffic shipping lanes or anchorages or heavily fished areas, which really reduces the risk of cable damage from any of those activities.
What role do advanced technologies like remote sensing and high-resolution seabed mapping play in identifying geohazards and informing burial strategies?
Remote sensing and high-resolution seabed mapping helps provide really detailed insights into seabed conditions in ways that you might not otherwise be able to do. And these technologies really help with detecting potential obstacles. You might have boulders or steep slopes, identifying areas of potential seabed mobility that could expose cables through sort of shifting sands and such like. It also helps you to enhance environmental assessments for sustainable cable routing and improve the accuracy of how you're going to bury and the depth to which you would bury those cables.
How do mobile seabeds and features like sand waves impact cable burial depth decisions? And what are the trade-offs between deeper burial and environmental or cost concerns?
Mobile seabeds and sand waves pose all sorts of challenges for cable burial. If cables aren't buried deep enough, then shifting sediments can expose them, which increases in turn the risk of damage to the cable itself. However, there's trade-off with deeper burial. You've got greater environmental disturbance, you've got cost considerations. Burying deeper is frankly costlier, and you've got project efficiency considerations to come up with an optimal burial strategy.
With human activities such as fishing and anchoring responsible for the majority of cable damage, how does CBRA help mitigate these risks, and what ongoing monitoring strategies are most effective?
Around 75% of cable damage is caused by fishing and anchor strikes, and cable burial risk assessment mitigates the risks. Hazard-prone areas can be avoided or mitigated. You can put in place monitoring such as real-time vessel traffic analysis and warning systems, and you can have alerts when vessels anchor or fish in high-risk zones to really reduce the likelihood of that damage event occurring. And finally, you're collaborating with maritime stakeholders and their activities to ensure that cables are placed in areas that minimise risk from that shipping activity.
What are the main challenges in obtaining consents for cable protection in designated marine areas, and how can early engagement with regulators and stakeholders help streamline this process?
Obtaining approvals for cable protection in designated areas can be really complicated. That's due to additional environmental assessments and habitat compensation requirements, regulatory concerns about compliance with those conservation statuses, and increasingly recently, concerns around how measures can be removed in the end, in the decommissioning phase, in a safe, environmentally sustainable manner. And navigation authorities need assurance that protection measures aren't going to interfere with vessel routes. So really early engagement with regulators and stakeholders helps mitigate those delays by addressing concerns early, helps streamline the consent process, demonstrating alignment with marine conservation strategies to enhance the approval likelihood, ensuring environmental compliance and reducing the project risk in turn, and providing really good quality data on vessels that will be in the area, their size, tidal heights, water depths, ensures that cable protection measures don't obstruct or interfere with maritime navigation.